Hello, everyone. My name's Kris. I'm the Managing Director at Extra Care, and I'm joined by my colleagues from the Extra Care team. They will introduce themselves as they come in, if that's okay. So, Joel, if we can skip on, we've got a few things to update on today. We're going to give you a bit of an overview of the regulatory inspection and the outcome, but more work to do on that across the year. We'll talk a little bit about some of the priorities from the Extra Care strategy. We will look at antisocial behaviour and some work that we're doing in that space. We will look at the resident service charge network update. And finally, we're launching the new Housing 21 website. So we'll end on that as well. So some of you will be aware we recently had a regulatory inspection, which is the regulator of social housing, and they come in and inspect Housing 21 on all matters housing in terms of how we're doing. The highest gradings that you can get are 1, the lowest gradings you can get are 4, and they range in governance, viability, and the consumer standards. So they're G, V, and C. So we're really pleased that Housing 21 we retained our governance and viability rating of G and V, and G and V1. And we had that last time, and we've been regularly at G and V1. This year, the regulator introduced a new standard, which was a consumer standard, and that focuses on things such as neighbourhood and community, safety and quality, tenancy standard, transparency, and influence and accountability. And the regulator said that we were a C2. So although that's a compliant grading and they had no real concerns about services we're providing to residents, in order for us to get to a C1, we do have to strengthen some areas of reporting. And so we're going to focus on that over the coming year. And so despite not getting a C1 rating at this point, we do know, and it's reassuring that our residents are still receiving a good service from Housing 21 due to the tenant satisfaction measures. So you will hopefully know that last year we had a grading of a percentage of 89% satisfaction, and the industry average is about 69% across the sector. So we're doing really well in that, but we do need to strengthen some of the areas of reporting, and that focus on antisocial behaviour, some complaints reporting, repairs reporting. We need to strengthen in those areas. So we're in summary, we're really pleased that we got the retained G and V, governance and viability, but there's just a little bit of work for Housing 21 to do in getting to a C1, and we're hopeful to do that pretty quickly as well. Next slide, please. So we have shared this previously, but in the past couple of months, both our resident forum and Extra Care and also the Extra Care committee, the board committee, approved the strategic priorities for the year ahead. And these focus on 3 key areas, which are resident satisfaction, quality and compliance, and performance. And the 2 boxes on the outside, which are investing in our people and providing quality systems, are what we class as enablers. So I'll just give you a quick summary of what ourselves and both the resident forum and committee thought that some of the projects that we should work on are. So relating to resident satisfaction, we do need to respond to the satisfaction survey that was done last year. As I said, it was great. Actually, in Extra Care, it came out at 90%, but overall 89% for Housing 21. So that's good. That's really positive. But there are things that we need to respond to, and not all services had such high satisfaction scores. So the ones that are lower, we're going to focus attention and go and speak with residents and find out how we can do to improve. So that's a big focus for us this year. The resident forum in particular wanted us to focus on communication. And while we have improved some areas in communication, I do think there's a lot more we can do in enhancing our communication approach to residents. So different platforms, different opportunities to try and improve. We also want to share better performance reporting for our residents. So one of the areas we will be doing this year is thinking about what residents want to see, not only for their scheme, but more widely across Housing 21, the performance data. So we are going to be sharing that with residents, more performance data this year as well. We also, one of the things that came out from the resident forum again was about customer service skills training and thinking about how we can enhance that for all layers across people across Housing 21. So that's certainly something we're going to do. Think about what that customer service training will look like and how we can enhance it for employees, but then also obviously to think about the service that residents receive. In terms of quality and compliance, this is a little bit about where the consumer standard came in on the previous slide, and that's about how we can strengthen our reporting in different areas. And the 3 ones that I pulled out in particular were antisocial behaviour, complaints, and repairs. So we do need to strengthen our compliance reporting to show that we are being compliant in these things, and we are reporting and doing things, drawing out themes so we can take any actions where needed. We're also going to focus on health and safety compliance. Lots of brilliant things we do on health and safety, but again, it's just making sure that locally our residents and our employees are following things through. So we're going to do a bit of work on that. And we're going to improve and enhance the relationships with some of the third-party providers that we have, including care providers and caterers. That's one area that we know that came out of the resident satisfaction survey, that residents said we might want to think about how we do that a little bit better and improve a little bit too. The third point, performance. So generally, as an organisation, we do need to achieve our performance goals that we set ourselves, because that enables us to do more as a business, both to grow but to invest more. So we do need to achieve our performance metrics that we set ourselves. And one area in particular this year that the team and I are drawing attention to is how we can continue to sustain tenancies, things like arrears reporting and supporting residents where they may be struggling a little bit. It's an area that we want to really put additional focus on. So they're the three key areas. And then just very quickly, the systems and people, which is what enables us to do these things. On the people side, we're focusing on our learning pathways and development of our people. If we have great people and great managers in our services, we know they'll be able to deliver great services to residents. So we're having a real focus on what our local managers need and what they want, and what training we think will be great to kind of improve the services. And then we also want to make sure we keep brilliant people, but also attract brilliant people into Housing 21. So focusing on how we recruit great people and also retain the good people that we have is something that we're going to continue to kind of work on this year. And finally, the systems bit. So we know that, you know, in terms of how we want to develop our housing management system is something we need to do a little bit better. Access for residents as well is something we're considering and doing something improving on. The care management system, so those of you that receive care services, Birdie has now been rolled out into all of our care services, which is fabulous. But there's loads of insights and reporting we can get from that now to help improve our services. So we'll be doing that. We mentioned the website launch, so Ashleigh will give a bit of an update on that towards the end. And then we're doing things about case management as well, which is a bit of a dry subject, but it's important that we have lots of data that we can use to help improve our services. And I'll just say one more thing, which is that we're also this year thinking about the future of extra care. We know, in our residents have actually told us this as well, that we're seeing much more complexities within our services, and it's really important that we support people again to live really well in our schemes. So it's something that we're seeing a change in needs and support locally. So we're thinking about how we can address that to make sure that we can continue to people can continue to live well in the services. And then we're also thinking about the future of extra care and what that looks like, and also what the value of extra care is, so we can share that with people at local authorities that may not be as familiar with extra care. I always get asked the question, what actually is the extra care services? So it's important that we can articulate that and tell people and have some literature that really describes what extra care is. I shall leave it there and hand over to my colleague.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jamie Lyndon Lewis, the head of Extra Care Central. So we understand how important it is for our residents to feel safe and comfortable in their homes. And a part of our responsibilities is how we manage antisocial behaviour. Sometimes things will go wrong, or there's behaviours on schemes that others don't appreciate. We know from our TSMs that the way in which we respond to antisocial behaviour is one of our lower scoring areas compared to others. So we put a lot of work in to make sure we improve in this area. We're really excited to say that we have produced our new ASB policy, and this one is really, really important because we've involved residents in the co-production of that policy. So from a resident perspective, they've helped us understand what's important to them and how they like to be worked with when these things occur. Within that policy, we have now got a much clearer explanation of what is ASB. So ASB in the wider world is quite specific in terms of what we define in law as ASB, but there's lots of other things that happen in our schemes that potentially is an ASB, but it's still potentially a nuisance to people, which we have to try and resolve and make sure we get a good solution on. We have also introduced a case review to ensure that if you raise a case with us and our employees are investigating it, attempting to resolve it, it's really important you're kept up to date and you know all the way through what is happening with the case that you reported. And lastly, it's meant to be really easy for you to raise a concern with us about ASB in your scheme. So we've improved the options for how you can report any matters to us that are causing you concern and you would like our support with to help resolve. To help explain our ASB process and the types of support available to residents, we now have resident leaflets and they help to describe what is ASB and how you can report should you have concerns. And again, it's really brilliant because they've also been co-produced with residents. So hopefully when you get them, you'll find them really, really helpful. To help with the rollout and explain the changes, we've done a bulletin, and this is a summary of all the changes which will be distributed to all of our schemes to help people keep up to date. A really important part of how we respond to ASBs, in some cases, we offer and provide mediation, and that's an ability to help resolve the differences between two lots of parties. We're really pleased that we've been able to purchase a package of mediation cases. That won't be for all incidents, but there are some particular incidents that occur where we and you would really benefit from having that professional help to resolve issues and differences. We will also be providing resident workshops and we will provide sessions about ASB and disputes over the next 12 months. So please do keep an eye out for those in your scheme. And if you are able to attend, please do. I'm sure you'll find it really, really helpful. Of course, the ASB service we provide is only as good as the training that we give to our employees and the support. So we have designed and rolling out a bespoke program of ASB training to our frontline employees and senior managers to make sure that when we do receive concerns, we respond to them properly and certainly in line with our own procedures as you would expect. And last but not least, Kris mentioned earlier on that we know the complexity of needs is increasing, not just in extra care and housing 21, but generally across the social housing sector. And we've brought in some new expertise into the team, which we're referring to as a community cohesion lead. They will help provide specialist advice and support to our teams when dealing with specific ASB cases that are perhaps more complex and more challenging to help us get to the right outcomes for people as quickly as possible. So I'm going to hand over to my colleague Tracy now.
Thank you, Jamie. Good afternoon, everybody. So I'm going to just talk to you about our new service charge forum that we've got with residents. So we know how important service charge costs are to our residents, particularly maintaining value for money and affordability, and more so transparency and understanding of our charges. So in February, a new resident-led subgroup for the service charge network was launched. It's chaired by resident Tom Long, who also sits on our Extra Care Resident Forum. This group meets monthly and works in partnership with Housing 21's Service Charge Project Group. And the network is currently focusing on professionalising the service charge processes and empowering our local managers to be able to support you more on the site. Introducing quarterly budget reports for residents for greater transparency and looking at that value for money piece. Improving communication using resident-friendly language, including things like accessibility formats, and also creation of verbal FAQs and podcasts. Providing clearer guidance on sinking funds for all tenure types and ensuring end-of-year statements are available for leaseholders and shared owners. And enhancing clarity and support for schemes under the PFI arrangements as well. So taking everything into consideration around our service charge, literature and guidance going forwards. We aim to start rolling out all of our new communication and guidance later towards the autumn, prior to budget consultation meetings taking place on your schemes. But of course, we'll keep you updated over the next couple of months of what that looks like as well. Thank you very much. I'm going to hand you over to my colleague, Ashleigh.
Hello, Ashleigh Jarvis, Head of Extra Care South, London and Kent. Really exciting news. So we're launching our new Housing 21 website. This is due to go live next week. What improvements have we made or what's coming? So we've got a really great improved search function and a cleaner user-friendly navigation system as well. So you can find things easier and things that interest you more quickly. We've got more images and less words. And we've also ensured that we've used 18 alternative languages so you can easily translate this. So what's coming next? We want to keep improving. So with any new projects, there may be things that we've missed. We'd really like to hear your thoughts on that. Please do take a look around our website and let us know if there's anything you'd like us to improve. You can contact us at communications@housing21.org.uk. That's it for the session today. Thank you so much for joining. If there's any further questions, please do drop us some questions and we're more than happy to answer them for you. Thank you.
Cheerio, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.